Hello 大家好啊，又係我天威神武啊。咁啊，全境封鎖嘅手遊嘅消息咧都出咗一段時間啦。咁官方亦都有一啲影片咧就介紹佢呢一隻遊戲啦。而家7月、8月啦已經嚇，咁就進入咗呢個封測嘅階段嘅。之前嘅影片咧亦都有提及過啦，去Ubisoft 嘅官網嗰度咧就可以登記，有機會成為封測嘅一員嘅。咁樣本身官方同埋非官方咧都有一啲片段流出。咁樣咧今日我哋一齊嚟睇一睇呢一啲嘅影片，究竟全境封鎖手遊會係一個咩嘅遊戲
？The Division Resurgence is taking you back to New York City to see where it all began. It's a free-to-play, third-person shooter, and it's coming to iOS and Android. We've got the details on a new enemy faction, new specializations, the new storyline, and it's all here in our interview with executive producer Fabrice Navarez. This is a new story in the Division canon, and it takes place. You are the first wave arriving in New York City, is that correct?
The overall objective was to make sure that we give a unique story for Division fans to enjoy, to give more details about the Division universe, but also for newcomers, people that are not familiar with the Division 1 and the Division 2 to have a good start. And so you will start with the first wave before the Division 1 events, and then a big chunk of the game is actually after the Division 1 and before the Division 2, and from there we will expand the story.
咁呢度有講到啦，咁會係
Now that first wave gave rise to rogue agents. Rogue agents, of course, some of the not just toughest enemies, but also most sort of developed characters in the Division franchise. Are we going to be meeting some new characters, some new faces that are really part of how this whole thing unfolded?
We are doing two things actually. It's first to meet with people that are known from the Division 1 or the Division 2, which is interesting to meet them before what happened actually in the Division 1 especially. And we're also introducing new villains.
Will we be seeing familiar factions, new factions? Who are we going to be fighting out there in the streets?
As a player, you will meet with the factions from the previous opus, but we also created dedicated factions. One of them is the Freemen, for example. So it starts with, okay, what a bunch of engineers, civil workers, people that know how to build stuff will behave in a collapsing New York City. Well, they will do their own arsenal, they will build their own weapons, and we'll also introduce a brand new gameplay to have new challenges for the player that plays very differently from the former factions.
Specializations, big part of the Division 2, not just in terms of special weapons that can change the tide of battle, but also a whole complement of abilities, mods, and buffs. Are there new specializations coming for the Division Resurgence?
Absolutely, you will find the specialization you used to have in the Division 2, but we also added new ones. We wanted to allow the player to change specialization when he wants, to make sure that when you're playing in cooperation with your friends, for example, that actually you can kind of adapt your playstyle to find the right synergy.
So the
key here is really flexibility and bringing new cool stuff in your arsenal. If you want to play 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you can. If you want to go into a more intense focus game session of 2-3 hours, it's possible as well. You can basically play the game a bit fitting it with your time. The second thing we're looking at also is to give a lot of options for the player to customize the controls, for example, to make sure they are very comfortable with that play style. So that's really the key there, and it's also how we take advantage of putting the Division on mobile phone. It's a faithful Division game, so we had a lot of great inspiration to take from. Of course, it's adapted for a small screen. Had to be easy to read, but you will feel at home basically with the overall UI side.
Playing with friends, playing solo, these are both different ways you've been able to play the Division in the past. How has that kind of translated to the mobile platform, being able to jump into solo, being able to jump into co-op? How have you sort of tuned that for mobile experience?
I would say it's quite similar to what you would expect from the Division. So it's basically you can either plan to play with your friends. From there, you can do all type of activity in the open world, go to play the campaigns, etc. The game is a MMO at heart also. So if you meet some strangers that looks helpful, well, you can play with them and explore the city. And where we're pushing a bit more the boundaries is on the clan system, where basically what we want to have is to have a group of players that are gathering together and try to improve the situation in New York City. And basically all the tasks that is being made by the clan members is basically improving the overall situation. So you're not alone.
We talked about specializations, but of course that's only one part of your arsenal. As a Division agent, the gear you're wearing, the weapons you're wielding, the mods you have on them, and the way you acquire them, either by looting them from your enemies, from a cache, or by crafting them. Talk to me about how that kind of depth of customization has translated to the Division Resurgence.
So that's something we wanted to keep: the complexity, the theory crafting, the min-maxing. The Division Resurgence is an RPG, and that means that actually players will be able to really look how to optimize everything to get the best build in a specific situation. So we kept most of the system you would expect from the Division. Of course, it's adapted. You start with the specialization that is kind of increasing the number of options. It means also different synergy with the guns, but you will have a quite complete mix actually to find the best play style.
Excellent. You can get really into it there. Now, folks, before we go, the Division Resurgence wants you to play the game early in upcoming tests. So go to thedivisionresurgence.com to sign up for a chance to get into the closed alpha this July. Fabrice, can you give us an idea of what the team is hoping to learn from these tests?
If you have the chance to play it, it's very important that we get your feedback. And the key there for us is to really understand how you play the game, how do you like what we've done with the control, with the overall pacing, the overall level design, and how we New York City. So it's really focused on the gameplay experience and the immersion of the open world.
Sounds good, Fabrice. Thanks for taking the time to tell us more about the Division Resurgence. Sign up for a chance to join upcoming tests at thedivisionresurgence.com. Subscribe to this channel and keep up with the latest Ubisoft news at news.ubisoft.com.
Cargo secured. GTM notified for pickup. Our guys have arrived.
另外有啲觀眾可能擔心，究竟手遊嘅畫面靚唔靚呢？同之前PC 版嘅分別大唔大呢？咁喺網上亦都有另外一條片嘅，同手遊版同埋 PS4 嘅版本呢去做一個對比，同埋呢一個呢係手遊嘅初期嘅質素嘅對比，咁有可能到完成版都會更加靚嘅。咁我哋一齊嚟睇一睇啊！咁呢個係一個手遊版本嘅畫質啦。其實以手遊嚟講，我都覺得唔錯嘅。咁呢一個就 PS4 嘅版本咯。當然啦，你好多喺陰影方面啊、光嗰度咧就真好多同埋靚好多嘅。咁呢一個係 PS4 嘅版本啊。咁而家side by side啦，我哋即係其實呢個地圖咧係有啲相類似嘅，就好明顯就係最大分別就喺個光源嗰度啦。咁我哋用另一個角度再睇一睇。咁啊換一換另外一個場景啦。 就係出咗基地嘅，呢一個係手遊版。其實有一個即係好闊落、一個好空曠嘅感覺俾到大家。咁呢個係 PS4 版嘅，咁可以睇到啲 detail 位就多好多。即係手機版，你見到遠景嗰啲大廈咧係冇乜損毀到，你見到高嗰等大廈咧滑捋捋嘅，冇乜難度嘅。但係如果你睇翻 PS4 版本嗰度咧，咁佢就係有啲損毀到嘅嘢喺度嘅，損毀咗個窗啊咁樣。咁另外一個場景啦，呢個就係由地鐵站再去警察局嗰個位置咁上下，應該係。會覺得可能手機版可能會 overall 會光一啲。但喺 interface 方面咧，就手機版都唔弱，即係好多資訊會喺個熒光幕上面啦。呢一個係 PS4 版嘅，一樣見到啦，街度有老鼠行過。咁啊，手機版就冇老鼠啦。咁大家我哋可以即係 compare 一下嗰個火光同埋煙嗰度啦，兩個版本啊嘛。咁另一個角度再睇一睇。即係如果你睇火光啊同埋煙嗰度嘅分別就比較大一啲啦。即係手機版就冇嗰啲煙嘅出現啦，即係爆咗就爆咗咁樣嘅。多謝大家嘅觀看啦！再有最新全境封鎖嘅消息咧，我會再喺呢一度話俾大家知嘅。咁啊，今日就傾到咁多先，peace out。
今日嘅影片就嚟到呢一度，記得點讚、分享同埋留言，訂閱撳埋個叮叮鐘，選擇全部，有新片就會預埋你噶啦。如果唔夠喉嘅話，可以睇埋右手邊兩條推薦片噶。